nobody can guarantee that they can train a dog in one day.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Dog trainer Russell Avison is suing former client Min Zhao for canceling a check for his services.
Order. All rise. It's case number 57 on the calendar, the matter of Avison versus Zhao.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated.
I'm going to start with you, Miss Zhao. What kind of a dog do you have?
It's a mixed hybrid, American Eskimo and Australian Shepherd.
How old is the dog?
It just turned 1 year old.
And you were having some behavioral problems with him.
Yes.
What kind of behavioral problems?
Back in March, when I got home from work, I found out my backyard was trashed. The dog plucked out, the plant's roots, and also chewed off the enclosure, the corner of the gas meter enclosure.
And he had never done that before?
He did something smaller. On the smaller cases, he plucked some, the plants.
Sought out Mr. Avison for some training for the dog. He had a school for dog training, and you took the dog to his school. Did you ever take the dog to his school?
Actually, it's a community class. There was a 6-week community class.
Did you take the dog to his class?
Yes, I took Cosmo to his class.
From when to when did you take his class?
I think the class started in September 2017. It's probably 5-6 weeks.
And you must have been satisfied with his class because subsequently, after this incident happened in March, you called him to see him privately.
I wouldn't call it satisfied because...
I don't care whether you would call it satisfied or not. If you were dissatisfied, you wouldn't have called him. So you called him to come to see you privately, not at the center, to your home.
He was my second choice. I called
I don't care if it was your first choice, second choice, third choice, or 10th choice. You called him to come to your home in his capacity as a dog trainer.
Yes.
When did he come to your home?
He came on Friday he showed up 7:10, 10 minutes late.
He came at what time?
In the afternoon, 3:10.
And he stayed for how long?
Probably he asked me whether I paid check or cash around 4 o'clock. So less than...
And for him to come to your house, did you ask him how much he charged?
I asked what...
Just a second. Just answer my questions.
Okay. Yes.
You asked him because that's a normal question and you sound like a normal person. You said, how much would it be for you to come to my house?
Yes, what's the session rate?
And what did he tell you?
He told me 179 up to
$179.
Up to 1.5 hours.
$179 for up to 1.5 hours.
Yes.
He came to your house. He was there for about an hour. You wrote him a check for $179. So far, correct?
Yes.
And you handed him the check before he left.
Yes.
And that was on a Friday?
Friday, around 4 o'clock.
And you subsequently canceled the check on what date?
On Sunday, 8.
Sunday?
Yeah.
So?
In the evening.
And that's what you're suing for?
Yes.
I'm listening. So far, you can't do what you just did. He quoted you a price. He came to your home. He spent an hour. He charged you $179, exactly what he said he was going to charge. If you were dissatisfied, you wouldn't use him again. But he came to your house. I'm listening.
Okay. He came to my house supposed to either train my dog or demonstrate to me how to train my dog on his problem. Before he discussed over the phone, before he came...
Just a second. What did you discuss with him over the phone?
Mm-hmm.
No. What did you discuss with him?
So he asked me what the problem is. I told him exactly what
the problem was.
We went through...
Just a second. You explained what the problem was, and he said to you, what did he say?
Oh, he said, first he said, he cannot come that week. He has some available spots the next week, the week after. I told him this is a time-sensitive matter. I need to get the dog trained this week. So he checked his calendar again. He said he happened to have opening at 3 o'clock because he has another appointment.
Fine. So he had an opening at 3 o'clock, and you said?
Okay, I said, I will take it.
Great. And he said?
He said he'll come. He'll confirm with me, and he'll send me a text. He'll confirm with me, the day after.
Fine. And?
And he did. He did.
And he came. So you
Yes.
have to pay him. He can't guarantee that he can train your dog.
No, but he
Miss Al,
didn't train my dog at all. He offered some tips, tricks regarding, how to stop dog from barking. And around the fog.
Miss Al, let me explain something to you. You can't do what you did. If you are dissatisfied, there are other things that you weren't satisfied with his service. So canceling it is not your option. You have to pay him. He made that, it's like a doctor.
Yep.
Let me explain something to you. If I call a doctor to come to see me and I say, I have a very, very bad cold, the doctor comes, says, I charge $250 to come and make a house call. I say, fine. Comes, he looks at me, he says, yep, you have a cold. I have to pay him $250.
Yeah,
he came to your house, he conferred with you, he gave you some tips. You didn't think it was enough? Don't use him again. But you can't cancel the check.
Can I finish my story? I haven't told you everything yet. Before he asked me for the check, I just asked him, you haven't, trained my dog as I asked you. And he said, I have to run to Malibu, so I'm going to send you email on how to train your dog. I was kind of shocked. I didn't hire, somebody at that rate to come to my house, then to send me email on how to train my dog. He said, I have something to do, tomorrow, which is Saturday, but I'll send you the email first thing on Sunday morning. So I waited Sunday, the whole day, because Monday I have to go back to work. And I didn't see the email. So until I see the sky getting dark.
Just a second. When you left, you told her that you couldn't give her the tips then, but you were going to write a report that she would have on Sunday. Is that correct?
No, it's not. I had a full schedule on the weekend. I teach classes Saturday and Sunday, and I had a full schedule. I said I would have it for her at the end of the day on Monday.
Okay, but you were going to give her a report.
Absolutely.
Fine. Did you prepare the report?
I did.
Do you have it?
I do.
I'd like to see it.
Okay.
Did you ever send this to her?
No, I did not.
Why?
Because she canceled the check prior to my sending it out, so I didn't feel that I needed to fulfill that obligation.
You want the report? You're going to pay for it. Do you want the report?
He lost,
Do you want the report?
If I want something to read, I can go online and search it, read online. I don't need his report.
Miss Sal, you're going to pay him anyway. I would take the report. He came to your house. If you were dissatisfied with his service, don't use him again. Time was not of the essence because any intelligent person, and you do not look like an unintelligent person, would know that nobody can guarantee.
At least
no, just a
demonstrate
second.
me.
Nobody can guarantee that. You do not look like a fool. I have dogs, you have dogs. You've had this dog for a year. You took your dog to a class for 6 weeks to be trained. And because you couldn't go to work because you were afraid that the dog was going to do damage over the weekend, you thought that he could come and in 1 hour break the dog of a bad habit that the dog had been developing over a period of months of ripping things up? Don't be ridiculous.
No, at least
Don't be
demonstrate
ridiculous. You
something
have
to
to
me.
pay him. You have to pay him. So I'm asking you one question. Do you want to pay him and get his report, or do you not want this report?
I don't want his report.
Good. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $179. We're finished. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
That's exactly what I expected.
If I hire somebody at that rate, at least, he can personally show in or train the dog.
She canceled the check prior to me even being able to talk with her.
I'm just shocked, how it turns.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Paterka versus Benison, step forward.
Carrie Paterka is suing her former fiancé, Marcus Benison, for car repair charges and half the cost of their engagement rings.
Ms. Paterka, you and the defendant were in a relationship.
Correct.
The relationship is something that's the subject of this. It's Mr. Benison's position that you were not engaged and you want money back for what you call engagement rings that you exchanged. You want at least half that bill. And you also say that he used your credit card for something.
Yes, ma'am.
He says that you vandalized his property and he's got a counterclaim. So
Okay.
tell me about the rings. Were you and Mr. Benison living together?
No, we were not. We were actively looking for a home together.
You were not living together?
No.
When had you started dating?
Well, I've known him for over 20 years. We're acquaintances. We live in this area. We're acquaintances. We live in the same area. We started dating last summer, maybe around July.
And you bought rings.
Yes.
When did you buy the rings?
Around October.
Okay. May I see the rings that you purchased?
I don't have the ring on me. I have a photo, and I believe he may be wearing the ring. I'm not sure.
No. Where is your ring?
I said, I don't have it anymore.
What did you do with it?
Actually, I lost it. I don't know. I had left it on a speaker at my house, and I'm not sure what happened to it, but I have a photo of the ring.
I don't care to see a photo of the ring.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
How long did you remain in a relationship after you exchanged these rings?
2 months later.
Yeah, when the bills started being due, you got ghosted.
Shouldn't have spent the money.
I played the
Shouldn't
fool.
have-
Everybody played the fool sometime, right?
Then what do you want from me?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Carrie Paterka says former fiancé Marcus Benison owes for credit card charges for car repairs and half the cost of their engagement rings. Marcus is countersuing, claiming Carrie vandalized his home.
Okay, you want him to pay for his ring.
Yes. These are customized rings.
I don't care. Explain why you think he should pay you for the ring you gave him.
That was the agreement. Initially...
Then, just a second. Then tell me what the agreement was.
Well, initially, I bought promise bracelets. So he said, oh, well, you know, he's like, I got this personal jewelry out in Detroit. They do a great job on jewelry. I said, okay. So he's like, let's go out there and, you know, check out this jewelry. Now, Mr. Benison gave me some appraisals of previous jewelry.
Shh. Just tell me how it came about that you gave him a ring.
We went together. Got
So
them
you
made
went
together.
together.
Yes.
Had them made together.
Yes.
But you paid for them.
He doesn't have any credit. I got a credit card open and was able to get credit to pay for the rings.
Do you work, sir?
Yes.
Who do you work for?
I work for a group called Bone Thugs and Harmony as a hype man.
What is that?
Get the crowd revved up while they're
You
performing.
got that ring.
Okay, how I got the ring. One day, me and her was talking, and I had a chain that says my name on it. And I lost one of the letters off of it. And I said, okay, I have to go to Detroit one day to take my chain down there before they can appraise and fix it. We both went down. Okay, we went to the jeweler, and she asked me for my ring. Can she wear my ring to say Flossie?
He would fit your ring.
I don't want you to speak when he's speaking.
I said, no, you can't. No, I'm not gonna let you wear my ring. She's like, well, I get me one made with your name on it, and you get one with my name. I said, okay, we can do that. And after that, she ran her credit and she purchased the ring. She didn't say nothing about I owed her for no ring.
Okay. After that, how long did you remain in a relationship after you exchanged these rings?
Maybe 2 months later.
Yeah, when the bills started being due, you got ghosted. That's what happened.
Could be. Shouldn't have spent the money.
Yeah, I played the
Shouldn't
fool.
have-
Everybody played the fool sometime, right?
Then what do you want from me?
Nothing
That's
from
not
you.
what
I want my money back from
that's
this
what-
gentleman.
Well, so far you haven't told me that you had a contract for
Well,
him to
he gave me
return
these
your
two
money.
appraisal papers saying, hey, you know I got the money to pay stuff back. I also took a loan out for him for a credit card for this tow truck to get fixed. So I gave him a loan for the tow truck. He said, hey, you know, he's got a lot of jewelry. Everything is real and it's value. He said, you know, I'll give you these appraisal papers in a promise to fix the tow truck and get the tow truck running. I'll give you your money back. And he gave me these as a promise.
That's a lie, Your Honor.
So how did I get them?
One day, her daughter...
If you speak to him again,
I'm sorry.
I'm just going to dismiss your case.
Okay.
Because it's easy for me.
Well, how she got the paper, Your Honor, one day, me and her daughter and her son are real close. Okay, and her daughter met me for the first time. And she seen me with my jewelry on, and she was like, oh, he got all that jewelry. Is it fake? And I told her, no, it's real. And then she went over to either her stepfather or her father's house, and she was like, oh, yeah, my mom got a new friend, and he wear a lot of jewelry, this, and then he's like, that jewelry fake. And then the daughter came back and said to me, my stepdad said your jewelry fake. I said, no, it's not. I went home, I went in my safe, and I said, look at these papers. My jewelry ain't fake. And then I showed her daughter. I said, look how much I paid for this jewelry. This jewelry not fake. And that's how she obtained the papers. I forgot them over her house. I never went back to get them.
Okay, Mr. Benison, I'm more interested in the money that she gave you for your tow truck to be fixed.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
I don't care about the jewelry.
Right.
I don't know what she did with hers.
Right.
I don't believe her when she says, I don't have it anymore, I lost it. Put it on top of something and I lost it. I don't believe it.
Judge Judy continues.
It's your property. What property did she vandalize?
The house that I'm staying in.
Did you call the police?
No, I never took it to get her in trouble and call no police.
Well,
on her
then
or
what are you
nothing.
bothering me for?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Carrie Paterka says former fiancé Marcus Benison owes for credit card charges for car repairs and half the cost of their engagement rings. Marcus is countersuing, claiming Carrie vandalized his home.
An engagement ring is something a man gives to his partner or a woman gives to her partner in exchange for a promise to marry. I don't get the sense that you promised to marry her. So I am, however, very interested in this tow truck that you had that wasn't running. When was that, Mr. Benison, that your truck wasn't running?
I think it's November.
And I want you to tell me the conversation that you had with the plaintiff about your truck not running.
Okay, it was like I had a tow truck. It wasn't up running, and she said, okay, well, I can be business partners with you. I can help you out in it, and I, you know, since we're in a relationship.
Just so I can be business partners. What was she going to do with your truck?
Nothing. She wasn't going to do anything with it. She just was the financial part behind business.
What business?
Tow truck business.
Who was going to drive a tow truck?
Me.
I thought you were a tongla. You got the crowd revved up.
I mean, that's not a job I do every day. It's not an everyday job.
What do you do every day?
I got lawnmowers, I cut grass, I paint houses. I do anything to keep money coming in so I can take care of myself and my family. It's not like every day.
Well, but your truck wasn't running.
No.
Who paid to have it fixed?
Oh, she paid to have it fixed, ma'am.
And where is the truck now?
Still parked in my backyard.
It doesn't work?
I never drove it one time, that truck one time.
After you had it fixed?
Never drove it one time.
Why?
At the time, what I needed, I didn't have.
What?
I mean, what I needed, I didn't have. I didn't have the time to be there and actually run. I owned more than one tow truck. And I had a wheel left. So I sold a wheel left and I got a flatbed. And then the flatbed needed work on it. So I had to park it and leave it parked until I can get the work done on it. And then once the work got done on it, my business partner got to acting crazy and went left and left me by myself with it. So I never got a chance to use that actual tow truck.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
How much did you spend to have the tow truck fixed?
$3,517.07.
I'd like to see that. Now I'm going to get to your counterclaim. It is your claim that the plaintiff vandalized your property. What property did she vandalize?
The house that I'm staying in.
Tell me how she did that.
She put toothpaste all over the doors, broke eggs, threw garbage all over.
Did you call the police?
No, I didn't call the police because I didn't take it that serious. It was like, to me, it was like a relationship being over, oh, she mad. So I never took it upon her, like, to get her in trouble and call no police on her.
Well, then what are you bothering me for? If you didn't take it seriously, what are you bothering me for?
No, I didn't think, like, to call the police to just get her in trouble because she, threw some eggs and vandalized. I just got it fixed and done myself.
Good. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $3,517. Your counterclaim is dismissed. We're done. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
It is what it is.
This is a lesson learned. I really did love that man.
Oh, it's over. I'm done. I don't want nothing else to do with it.
Man, I'm cool by myself and my kids. We're good. We was good before we got with them. I'm good without them.
Choose my girls wisely next time.
Keep it moving, man. I don't know.
You came and you brought your dog. She had a dog.
A crowded apartment fills up even more.
The two of you idiots did not have your dog neutered or spayed. The two dogs got together.
Then a puppy problem
Why hadn't your dog been spayed?
breeds bad feelings.
Why didn't you ever tell me either?
You knew she wasn't spayed.
I had no idea.
And then you say you had an argument and she kicked you out of the house.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Jeanette Plesnick is suing her former friend, Cassandra Lipsy, for the return or value of a puppy, hotel fees, and boarding fees.
Order. All rise. It's case number 10 on the calendar, the matter Plenzik versus Lipsy.
Thank you, Bert.
You're welcome, Judge. Party's been sworn in. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat, please.
Let me understand this, Miss Plesnick. You needed a place to live, and Miss Lipsy was a friend of yours. She allowed you to move into her apartment.
Correct.
For free.
No, I paid her rent.
You paid me.
I paid her.
Sure, if you interrupt her, you're gone.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Initially, I to have in writing.
Listen to me carefully. You lived there with her for free. If you say you paid her $100 a month, that's like living there for free.
I was only there 4 days a
pay,
week.
Listen to me.
I wasn't living there all the time. I was staying in her daughter's room.
Listen to me. I don't care. You needed a place. You were living at her place. You came and you brought your dog. She had a dog. How old was your dog when you brought the dog
6
there?
months old.
And how old was your dog?
5 years old.
And the two of you idiots did not have your dog neutered or
Correct.
spayed. So you brought a 6-month-old male puppy into a house with a 5-year-old unspayed female dog.
It was never discussed.
I'm not talking to you. This is not a question. This is a statement. And what happened was, according to what I read in these papers, the two dogs got together. You didn't plan on them getting together. She didn't plan on them getting together. They got together, and there was a litter of puppies. Mixed breed puppies, because your dogs are not of the same breed. You have a
husky.
And you have
A pit bull.
So now we have a litter of mongrel puppies, and unexpectedly,
Correct.
and they are born on what date?
January 20th.
January 20th.
And the two of you, I don't know what the preliminary discussions were to be parents or grandparents. I don't care. The case is about this. You think she owes you for a puppy because she either sold or gave away all the puppies, and according to you, you had an agreement that you could keep one of the puppies. You had no agreement for a stud fee. Don't shake your head, it's annoying.
Sorry.
You had no agreement for a stud fee because you didn't intend to have a litter of puppies. So at best, what you're alleging is she told you sometimes after this marriage was consummated that you could have a puppy. And then she said you couldn't have a puppy and you want the value of this mixed breed puppy. Okay, that's part of it. And then you say you had an argument and she kicked you out of the house, and so you want her to pay your hotel bill and boarding fees. I assume boarding fees because you had to put your dog in some sort of a kennel until you found a place to live.
Well, my apartment was ready within 2 days.
She's not your mother. She's not somebody who's responsible for you. You're a big girl. If you had a fight with somebody who let you live with her for nothing because she liked you, and you had a fight with her and she told you to leave, that's what you have to do. So the only issue that I'm entertaining on your part is the question of whether or not she owes you a puppy or the value thereof. Now I've laid out, so tell me, on what date did you make this contract for the puppy?
It wasn't a contract. It was verbal.
Oh, that's
it was
easy.
verbal.
Perfect. Perfect. If it wasn't a contract,
Exactly.
I don't
Why
have
should she
just
give-
a
she should
second.
give me
If
a
it
puppy?
wasn't a contract, I don't have to hear you, which is perfect because I have 10 other cases
Well,
to
then
do
why
today.
does she get to keep all the puppies, though? Why?
Why?
Yeah.
I don't know. Why is a crooked letter? That's what my mother used to say. She'd say, why? And she would say, why is a crooked letter? Listen, let me tell you what I do. I'm a judge. I rule on questions of negligence. I rule on questions of contract. I rule on questions of custody, when I sat in family court, visitation, child abuse, neglect. Not why should she get to keep all the puppies? That's not what I do. If you want to do that, then you go to Dr. Phil and you say, psychologically, it's not the right thing. I should be able to keep one. She should be able to... What you're telling me is there was no contract.
She made a verbal
No,
agreement.
I never
just a second.
agreed.
Just listen to me.
I have
Just a
text
second.
messages.
Ms. Plesnick, there isn't a difference between a verbal contract in the law and a contract that's in writing. But there has to be terms that have to be considered in order to validate a verbal contract. So I want you to tell me, if you bother me again outside, do you understand? Perfect. I want you to tell me the date on which you and the defendant made a verbal contract. What you said to her and what she said to you.
I have text messages where she told me she would give me a puppy.
Listen to me. If you have text messages, I'll see them.
Okay.
If you want to tell me what she said to you and when she said it to you, I will listen to you. And then you'll find the text messages. Take your choice.
She said that she was
Tell me when.
There was multiple discussions about how people wanted the puppies, and she wasn't sure if she was going to keep one or not through the whole time, like if she was pregnant.
I'm not pleased whether she was going to keep one or not. I'm talking
about
you.
Well, that was what she was depending upon, giving me one and selling the other ones. So she said, I will let you know. That's what she said to me. I will let you know. I've promised several people a puppy, and I'm not sure if I'm keeping one too. So she kept leading me to believe that she was going to give me one of the puppies.
Oh, just a second. That's not a contract.
No, I told you it wasn't
just a second. That's not a contract. A contract is we had this accidental coupling. I'm going to discuss it first, and we decided to do this. What I would do is either give you a stud fee or let you keep a puppy. That's what people do when they breed purebred animals. You get a stud fee if you do it contractually with some thought. When two idiots let two unneutered animals together and one is in heat, then they don't usually have a discussion beforehand. The discussion that you had just told me about is not a contract. Now, if you say that she later, at some point, made a contract with you and said, I will give you a puppy, there also has to be another part of that contract, which is consideration. Put your hand down, you're annoying me. So if you want to look and find a text message, I'll wait for you.
You want me to read it?
Yes.
Okay. I think, this is Cassandra, I think they're all spoken for. I have 3 people online for the one girl. Dylan's barber offered $1,000 for her, but I'll let you know what's going on. I can't imagine that's a real offer, LOL, and that's assuming we don't keep one. Well, this is me. I'd really like to give one to my dad. I would keep one if I could, but you know that's not possible. Without coming across as being it's one of Bully's babies, and I'd love to keep her in the family. I understand where you're coming from, but I've also been talking to these people for weeks. I'll see what happens and let you know.
That's not a contract.
No, but she told me she's going
clear. Couldn't be clearer. Okay, so you have no case. Now, let's get to your counterclaim. Your counterclaim is for the vet bills.
And harassment.
I don't care about the harassment. Your counterclaim is for the vet bills.
Okay.
Her boyfriend harassed me. Her boyfriend harassed me in my face.
You see the way I told her to be quiet?
Sorry.
Had your dog ever had a litter of puppies?
No.
Your dog was 5 years old?
Yes.
Why hadn't your dog been spayed?
When I got her...
I'm just curious. That has nothing...
it's a fair question. When I got her, I did consider breeding her with a friend who had a husky. I did some research into it, decided it was a lot of work and a financial expense that I could not afford. And then I got divorced, and I could not afford to have her spayed. Yes. So she...
Oh, my God.
Stupid.
It was stupid, yes.
Okay, fine.
Absolutely, it was stupid. But that's why she had never been spayed.
It was stupid.
Why didn't you ever tell me either that
you knew she wasn't spayed?
I had no idea.
You absolutely knew. The requirement of her living with me was that
her
she
claim
keep
has
her dog
already been
treated.
dismissed.
No problem.
Show them the door.
Thank
you.
As far as our excuse, you may step out.
She never communicated to me anything, any resentment for me staying there, nothing.
She was living with me because she didn't have any place to live.
When you're an adult, you use your words. Didn't happen.
I cannot believe I trusted her and thought she was my friend.
He came rushing up to me in my face and was telling me that my dog raped her dog.
She was living with...
Now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Sadek versus Headley. Step forward.
Ahmad Sadek is suing handyman Charles Headley for the return of money he paid him to paint the interior of his home.
Mr. Sadek, you hired the defendant to do some painting work in your house?
Correct.
On what date did you hire him?
On March 4th, 2018.
How did you find him?
I found him through a Nextdoor app. It's a community app where he was referred by a couple of people on the app. So I contacted them.
Online?
Yes, ma'am.
Just for my own information, there's an app. People write nice reviews about somebody.
Correct.
And from that, you type in the app and you say home painting.
General contractor.
General contractor.
Yes, Your Honor.
But you don't, in fact, go and check out the source of that. So somebody could have their sister, brother, aunt, uncle, mini, children, pet poodle, whomever, write a glowing report about a particular person. And if you're looking on that app, you don't know who wrote it.
Absolutely correct, Your Honor.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
On here, what's the scope? He's going to pay you $3,000. For what?
for painting,
No,
drywall.
just a second.
There's another paper that should have been with that, ma'am.
There isn't one, Your Honor.
Well, I mean, you signed it, then you're a fool.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Ahmad Sadek says handyman Charles Headley never completed painting the interior of his home.
All right, when was he supposed to start the job?
On March 12th.
Did you have a written contract?
Yes, Your Honor.
May I take a look at it? Do you have your copy of the contract?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
I'd like to take a look at it. Because there's some crossing out here. I want to make sure it's both the same. Okay, so $1,500 down, $1,500 on completion. What's your first name?
Charles.
Why did you write your last name here?
I signed it on the bottom of that contract, ma'am.
Well, who can understand the handwriting? Bubba's Handyman by Charles.
Yes.
And who prepared this contract?
That is a generic contract that we use.
Well, that's ridiculous. Would you explain to me what the scope of the work is?
Yeah, the scope of work is...
No. On here. On here. What's the scope? Well, he's going to pay you $3,000. For what? Where does it show me? This is your contract. Where does it show me in this contract what you were going to get paid $3,000 for?
Yeah, there's another paper that should have been with that, ma'am.
There isn't one, Your Honor. Doesn't exist.
Shh. Well, I mean, you signed it, then you're a fool. When you signed a contract, then you don't appear to be a foolish man to me. You appear to be an intelligent man. Why would you sign a contract that didn't tell you what the work was, unless I didn't read it? He was supposed to sell it to provide the materials, such materials and labor to be provided to the customer for the performance of the work specified in writing in an SOW, which I assume, scope of work.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am, that is correct.
It's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous contract. It's ridiculous for you to give him. For somebody who's been in business, you say, I've been in business 19 years, I never had a problem. And it's ridiculous for an intelligent person to sign, to give somebody $1,500 and not... What if he said, I've got $1,500, I'm going to write Charles on your door? That's the scope of work. Charles and a big heart.
I agree.
Ma'am, we had went over the scope with him of what we was going to do.
Miss Charles, listen to me very carefully. You're the businessman.
Yes, ma'am.
You can't tell me, if you're in business, and you've been in business for 19 years, according to your answer, this is a plaintiff. Nothing outside the four corners of this contract is relevant unless it is signed and executed in the same form as this document, unless you have a signed scope of work, which I assume is what SOW means, S-O-W.
Yes, ma'am.
Show me the SOW.
I don't have that with me.
Well, you're the businessman. You're supposed to have the SOW. You refer to it in this document. So whatever is outside that is called parole evidence. It's inadmissible to tell me what the scope of work was. Do you understand?
Yes.
Fix it if you plan on being in business anymore.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Where were you on the 15th?
Ma'am, I told him before.
Just a second.
But I told him before when we executed this contract that I had health issues. Ma'am, also, when we moved the furniture...
Stop talking!
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Ahmad Sadek says handyman Charles Headley never completed painting the interior of his home.
This is what the case is about. You hired him to do painting. You claim he didn't do the job.
Correct.
His problem...
Your Honor, I have pictures of the work that I have done.
Listen to me, sir. I'm not on your side yet. How many rooms was he supposed to paint?
The whole first floor, the hallway going to the second floor, sunroom. I installed trim on the sunroom.
He was supposed to start the work on March 12th.
Yes, Your Honor.
Did he arrive on March 12th?
No, Your Honor.
Did he arrive on March 13th?
No, Your Honor.
Did he arrive on March 14th?
Yes. After I had asked him...
And you had given him $1,500?
Yes.
And how long was the job supposed to take?
2 weeks, Your Honor.
When he arrived on March 14th, did he work?
Barely. Yes.
What did he do on March 14th?
Made a mess out of the whole house.
What did he do?
He removed all the living room furniture into the dining room, making the dining room and kitchen unlivable.
Just a second.
Yes.
You got where I'm going?
Yes.
I have other things to do. He moved all the furniture so that he could start to paint. What else did he do?
He started cutting trim work for the sunroom.
Explain that to those of us who were untutored in what trim work is.
Baseboard for the sunroom, it needed woodwork.
What else?
Removed all the face plates off the wall.
Was on the 14th.
Correct.
What about the 15th?
The 15th, he did not show up. Only his partner, Paul, showed up.
Where were you on the 15th?
Ma'am, I had...
Where were you?
Ma'am, I told him before...
Just a second.
But I told him before when we executed this contract that I had health issues. This man knew this. That's why in the contract it stated that March the 23rd, 2018 this job would be completed. Ma'am, also, when we moved the furniture...
Stop talking! I would like you to show me anywhere in this contract where it says that the work will be completed by March 18th.
I did not say March 18th, ma'am.
Well, what date did you
March
say?
23rd, it's right on the bottom. Completion date, 2018.
What does it mean, guarantee work till you move out?
I was planning on, it's a possibility to sell the house, and one of his guarantees is if any damage happens to the house, since I have 2 big dogs, before the sale, he'll come and fix it again for free.
Guarantee work till you move out?
That if the dogs chewed up any of the trim along the wall or anything like that, ma'am, if they damaged it, because he told me he was selling
Charles,
his home.
Pay attention. Now, did you give him any more money other than the $1,500? That's either a yes or a no.
No.
Okay.
Closed captioning sponsored by.
I want you to show me photographs of what you completed in the house. Don't say anything. Say nothing. Just show me. Is this work completed?
No, ma'am, because Mr. Sadek had started that prior. That's why he had us come in. He had laid that floor and then properly installed it. And my partner started, we had to build out the trim on the wall, Your Honor, to cover up the gaps.
I just want to know how many walls did you paint? I don't see any pictures of painted walls.
Well, I had to do the nail pops in we started in, a young lady that works for me started upstairs painting.
I just want you to show me pictures of what painting work you did.
Right there, Your Honor. He tried to cover up the black mold, which is a health issue.
Just a second. You were supposed to paint the entire first floor.
Yeah, you have to prep it first.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,500. We're finished. Thank you.
But, Your Honor, you didn't even hear it all the way out.
I heard it.
Yeah, because of the countersuit of what he done.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
Well, it is what it is.
How quick it was just shows how much of a scam.
That if we was going to come there, he would do bodily harm.
Give me my money, get your tools, and let's get this done, and he wouldn't agree to that.
He wants to cover it up because he didn't want to incur the additional cost.
Don't do my mistake.
I mean, he's a scam artist. That's the bottom line.
Trusting somebody's word. Put it on the contract.
Miss Loggle had some problems with the apartment.
Her suffering was nothing to sneeze at.
I actually had a severe allergy attack multiple times throughout that month I lived there.
They found black mold.
But moving out put the hurt on their other roommates.
How do you expect them to pay April's rent?
By finding another roommate.
They can't do that. You had an obligation to them.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Carly Lobdell and her girlfriend, Alexandria Tabatsnik, are suing their former roommates, Tori Loggle and Logan Peel, for unpaid rent, money they paid for furniture, and stolen belongings.
Order. All rise. Fight in the courtroom. It's case 575 on the calendar in the matter of Tabatsnik. Judge, parties have been sworn in. You may be seated.
Tabatsnik,
Yes.
Is that you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Your co-plaintiff is your girlfriend, and the two of you were looking for another couple to share an apartment with. Somehow you got together on Facebook with the defendants. You met, they are a couple, you liked each other, and you decided maybe it would be a good fit. You would find a two-bedroom apartment to share together. When did you find them? What month?
I believe it was January 2018.
And where did you find the apartment?
In UTC La Jolla.
How much rent was the apartment?
$25.80 total.
Expensive, but easier split.
Yeah.
You signed a lease. You all signed a lease?
Yes.
All four of you. And moved in when?
January 27, 2018.
Who's going to speak?
She can speak. January 27, 2018.
We moved in on February 14th.
But you signed the lease effective?
January 27th.
January 27th. But you moved in February 14th?
Correct.
Correct.
Okay. Your last name is?
Loggle.
Miss Loggle had some problems with the apartment. I don't know what they were. You want to tell me quickly what the problems you had when you moved in on the 14th?
I actually had a severe allergy attack multiple times throughout that month I lived there.
Okay, so for the 2 weeks that you were there, from February 14th until the end of the month, you had allergies.
I believe it was a month.
Did there come a time when you left the apartment?
They did actually put us in a hotel so they could renovate the apartment.
Someone must have complained to the apartment complex.
Correct.
Who was that?
That was me, Your Honor.
That was you. And were you complaining on your behalf or on your girlfriend's behalf?
On all of our behalf.
Okay, so tell me what the problem was with the apartment.
So they found some black mold, and they found like dirt and dust.
Okay, you don't have any reports of that, but there was clearly...
No, we do, Your Honor.
I'd like to see them. And it was evidently sufficiently hazardous so that the apartment complex put all of you up in a hotel?
Correct, yes.
From when to when?
March 15th, 2018 to March 29th, 2018, but they took us out before that because it was completed.
The apartment complex paid for the hotel, because you had all paid your rent in the month of March, paid for you to stay in a hotel. And when did you all move back?
We were cleared to go back in March 22nd.
And you came back March 22nd?
I don't believe we did. We were out of town, and we came back on like the 23rd or the 24th.
I'm going to read this report. Okay. Your complaint is that the defendants moved out without any notice. When did you move out?
So we were out by the 31st.
Okay. Did you pay April's rent?
No, because we were out before April, and we had broken the lease.
I'm sorry.
Shh.
When you say you broke the lease, I'd like you to tell me your understanding of breaking the lease.
I basically moved her to, I sent it to me, sorry.
Nice. I want you to tell me what you mean by breaking the lease.
We got signed off the lease by the apartment complex.
Okay. When you got signed off on the lease, did they reduce their rent by half?
They did not.
Well, then how do you expect them to pay April's rent?
By finding another roommate.
They can't do that.
That's why we offered to help, and we posted ads, and we found a roommate.
No, just a second. Great. Effective when?
So we actually...
Sorry. You offered to help. Mm-hmm. I'll read this in a moment. You offered to help. You moved out. Clearly, you had no intention of moving out when you moved back in on the 22nd or the 23rd.
We did, yeah.
Or had you given notice to the landlord prior to moving back into the apartment from the hotel that you were leaving?
Yes, we did.
Okay, show me.
You're holding the one that was the notice.
You were supposed to give me a report. You said you had a report for me. I thought, didn't I ask for the report? That
What report are you asking for?
Well, you said that they found mold. Mm-hmm. And I said, that's hearsay, unless you have a report. You said, I have it. So that's what you were supposed to hand me, not a lawyer's letter.
So the apartment complex won't release the...
So the answer is you don't have a report. Answer. So that all I know is that the situation was sufficiently serious that they moved the four of you out of the apartment, then told you that whatever it was cleaned, it was sanitized, and they moved back. You moved back 2 days later, according to you, on the 23rd or the 24th of March, and then moved out a week later. And I'm telling you that you can't do that to them. It's fine if the landlord doesn't say to you, you're on the hook for the rent, but vis-a-vis these people, you have an obligation to them because they rented this apartment for more money than they could have afforded together as a couple. Otherwise, they wouldn't have taken in two strangers.
Absolutely, Your Honor.
So you owe them. Now, if what you're telling me, Mr. Peel, is, because what they're asking for is your half month's rent for the month of April.
Yes.
That's what they're asking for. Now, that's not a lot. That would suggest to me that they didn't have anybody in April taking up the slack for your half of the rent. Put your hand down. If what you're telling me is that you found them a tenant who was paying them rent starting April 1st, I'll hear that.
Correct. So what we did was we posted ads online.
Just a second. When did you do that?
So this was when we moved back in.
The 4th, you posted ads online.
Yeah.
Just a second. That's what you just told me. On the 23rd and the 24th, you posted ads online.
And before that. So we posted ads.
That you told me when you moved back in. That was the 23rd or the 24th. Keep going.
So we posted ads online, and we found a suitable roommate.
Great. You found just a second. Okay. You found a suitable roommate that was suitable for them.
Correct.
Great. And when was that roommate supposed to take possession of the apartment?
On the 1st.
On the 1st of April. Is that correct?
Correct.
Proof. All I want is proof. If somebody paid rent April 1st, they have no damages.
Well, can I? Okay.
Make it easy. Or for me, while you're looking, did you have a new roommate starting April 1st?
No, we did not. We have text from Logan saying he's paying on the 3rd. We have the apartment saying they're responsible.
Do you have a new roommate now?
No.
Do you have a roommate starting in May?
Not yet. We have a possible one, but he hasn't signed yet.
But nobody moved in with you in April?
No.
Okay. And you have proof, sir, Mr. Peel, pay attention. You have proof that someone moved in with them. That's very easy. I call the landlord.
I do not have proof that somebody moved in with them.
Fine, then you owe them half a month's rent.
Judge,
could I?
Your Honor, I live in a roommate, and what had happened is that I basically reached out and said, we found someone, and then they decided, the apartment complex gave us options. They said that—
Don't tell me what the apartment— No. Listen to me.
Sorry.
You can't tell me what the apartment complex said. No. That's hearsay. If what you're telling me that you found a suitable roommate that was suitable to them, because you really had no right to break this lease. I don't care what your lawyer's letter said. As between them, not the apartment complex, you took the apartment and jointly and severally obligated yourself to pay rent, but you had an obligation to them. And because you had a rash doesn't mean because you had a rash.
It wasn't a rash.
Because you had a rash or an allergy attack doesn't mean that you can move out without either finding them a suitable roommate or paying them the remainder of the lease. Now, if you found them a suitable roommate and they, for some reason, rejected that roommate, well, then I'll hear you. But I don't want to hear a lot of baloney.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Mr. Peel, if they knocked at the door in the middle of the night, if they telephoned you 150 times a day, and you can prove that to me, that's harassment. Have any proof she agreed to pay you back and that it was a loan?
I would have had it over my phone.
Not woulda. I don't want to know woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Okay.
I want to know, do you have any?
At this moment, no, I do not.
Well, this is the only moment.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Carly Lobdell and girlfriend Alexandria Tabatsnik say former roommates Tori Loggle and Logan Peel backed out of their lease. The defendants are countersuing for harassment and furniture rent.
Okay, so you found them a suitable roommate and?
So we found them a roommate, and then they decided that they weren't sure if they wanted to stay living there or not either. So we can't get a roommate for someone, like we can't find a roommate and tell them they're not going to know where they're going to live, because they had sent text messages after I found a roommate saying that they don't know if they want to stay or not now, because she was also having reactions in the apartment. And so I can't fill a room that they don't know where they're going to be.
You owe
and we
them
have proof
you owe them
of
half
the
a month's
reactions.
rent. Okay. $1,250. Now, money paid for furniture. You want to tell me what money you paid for furniture?
Yes, right here, the first month we paid $150 more.
You paid $150 more for what furniture?
Desk, chairs, TV.
Madam, is you didn't have sufficient furniture. They had furniture. And what they said to you was, if you want to use our furniture, it's going to cost you an extra $150
Exactly.
a month.
We have those tests.
I actually get that. That doesn't mean that you bought the furniture from them.
Yes.
It means that you used the furniture the first month, so you don't get that money back. You sat on the chairs, you ate off the table, you watched the TV. All of that is fair. They owe you $1,250. Now we have a counterclaim. Let's see what this counterclaim is about. Harassment and rental furniture. Forget the rental furniture, we've dealt with it. Okay. Harassment. Who's going to speak?
Go ahead.
So after we were removed from the lease, we were receiving messages from Alex and Carly saying that we had to pay, which I know you just decided now was, but we have this document saying that we were removed from the lease, effective by the apartment complex and signed by those two.
Mr. Peel, that doesn't qualify as harassment, that they want you to pay half the month's rent.
And
if they knocked at the door in the middle of the night, if they telephoned you 150 times a day, and you can prove that to me, that's harassment. Do you understand? Telling you repeatedly that you owe them half a month's rent for the month of April, half a month's rent for the month of April, when you and your girlfriend decided to move out and sign yourself off the lease because you got an attorney to write them a very long letter. By the way, are you in any way related to this attorney, Stephen?
No.
So you paid the attorney?
Correct, and we settled with the apartment.
So you paid the attorney. How much did you pay him?
$200.
Okay, you owe them $1,250. Judgment for the plaintiff. We're done. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I kind of expected it to go this way. I'm really happy it was as easy as it was.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
Kind of scammers.
No, not at all. If I'm using an EpiPen living in an apartment, I probably shouldn't be living there.
They backed out on a lease. Hey, you owe us money, point blank.
At the end of the day, when your girlfriend can't live in an apartment, you're gonna move.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Novoa versus Huffnagel, step forward.
Felicia Novoa is suing ex-girlfriend Alicia Huffnagel for an unpaid loan to buy a car.
Ms. Novoa, the defendant was your girlfriend for a period of time. According to your complaint, you made her a loan. You made that loan to her in January of last year, and the loan was for a down payment on a car. The relationship that you had with the defendant lasted until August of last year, and then the relationship was over, and you want the $1,500 per car. The defendant says, while she acknowledges that you did put the down payment on the car, she said it was a gift. There was never any discussion of repayment of this money. She said that she never paid you any of the money between January and August. Is that correct?
Correct.
Right. That you never demanded any money from her between January and August, correct? Correct?
Correct.
Okay. So now it's your responsibility to prove to me that this was, given those circumstances, that this was a loan.
We spoke over phone when we had this conversation about me lending her the money. She told me she'd pay me back. You know, it's a month into it. I gave her, you know, $1,500 a month into our relationship. I wouldn't even do that with family. So yeah, so I was like, as long as, you know, you pay me back, I'll lend you this money.
Do you have any proof of that?
That I lent her money?
No. That she agreed to pay you back and that it was a loan. Do you have any correspondence with her? Do you have an agreement with her?
I would have had it over my phone.
Not woulda, I don't want to know woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Okay.
I want to know, do you have any?
At this moment, no, I do not.
Well, this is the only moment.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
If you paid her $300, you acknowledge the fact that you were responsible for paying her back.
But there was no agreement.
By you making a $300...
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Felicia Novoa says ex-girlfriend Alicia Huffnagel owes for a loan to buy a car.
Now, in February of 2017, Ms. Huffnagel, were you employed?
Yes, ma'am.
What kind of work were you doing?
I was working at a grocery store.
Is that the same kind of work that you were doing previous to January?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you still doing that kind of work?
No.
What are you doing now?
I work at the airport now.
And what was your take-home pay?
Probably about $1,400, $1,500 a month.
And were you working during that period?
Yes, I was.
What kind of work were you doing?
I was also at the grocery store. That's how we met.
And how much were you earning?
I was earning probably roughly the same amount.
So you're both earning the same amount of money, and now You've loaned her $1,500, according to you, and you're still together working in a grocery store, and she's paid you nothing back, not $25, not $50, not $100. January, February, March, April, May, June, or July, and you make no request for any money.
Once she's paid me $300, but I gave it back to her because she said that she was going to have to pay a bill or she was going to get sent to collection.
So during no January, February, June, and July, she didn't give you any money, even though you knew how much she was earning. Didn't say to her, I want $25 a month.
Yeah.
$10 a month. Wasn't until after the relationship was over that she said, I want my money.
No, I would tell her during the relationship, but...
And?
I would ask her, and she just couldn't make the payments, so I was okay.
Well, there was no set payment.
Yeah, no, there wasn't a set payment.
No.
I didn't...
So far, Miss Nova, I'm not impressed. You want to tell me your version of how this $1,500 down payment took place?
So, in January, my car had broken down, and I was venting to her about my situation. And it came down to me not having my job long enough or not having enough money to put down on a new car. And so that's when she said, like, I can help you with that. And so she gave it to me. And it was a pretty quick transaction because of dealing with, like, the dealership and stuff like that. They're fast. So I was told it was a gift.
Well, just a second. How were you told that it was a gift?
Verbally.
Well, tell me. What did she say to you? Nobody says to you, this is a gift.
I called her, and I was telling her, like, hey, the dealership...
Don't look down.
Sorry.
Here.
The dealership told me that I needed 3 things. I need money, a job longer, or good credit. I had decent credit, but I didn't have it to just your only thing holding you back. I can help you with that.
And?
And that's what she did.
Okay, and?
She Venmo'd me, which is a app that you can pay people, and I put it down on the car, and...
And you got the car. And you continued to see each other. And when, for the first time, did she ask you back for any of this money?
I'd say probably like 2 or 3 months in, and that's when I made the first, like, I was able to make like a $300 payment, and then, like she said, she gave it right back because I was struggling.
Oh, well, that's interesting.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
So you paid her $300. If you paid her $300, you acknowledge the fact that you were responsible for paying her back.
But there was no agreement.
Well, by you making a $300 payment to her, you acknowledge an agreement.
Well, because she was pressuring me about it being like... Because when I first got in a relationship with her, my understanding was that she wasn't... Like, she didn't make it seem like it was a big deal. She made it seem, you know, she has a house, she's a lot older than me. You know, I didn't think that it was going to be a big deal, but then a couple months later, it turned into like a, hey, I wasn't just giving you that money, it was a loan, you have to pay me back. And I was like, okay, well, let me see what I can do. And so that's when I had that payment, but we were still dating, so she knew I was still struggling.
Put down $1,500 on the car?
And I put down $1,000.
Great. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,500. We're done.
Judge Judy, may step out. Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
I think it was fair.
I'm happy with it.
Not having a scheduled payment.
One thing led to another. I just wasn't getting paid.
I saw it as a gift, but apparently it was a loan.
I have too good of a heart, I guess.
I just wish her the best, that's all.
It's a life lesson learned.
I asked her, can I use your vehicle? And she told me no.
Did you drive my car? You're lying under oath.
Different realities for a sister and brother.
He wasn't driving the car when it was damaged. You drove the car into a pole.
Correct.
He's lying.
But the judge is all about keeping it real.
Did you have insurance on your car?
No, ma'am.
You can't let your brother, who I wouldn't let drive a tricycle, borrow my car that had no insurance on it.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Mary Gay is suing her brother, 22-year-old Leroy Jackson, for damaging her car and then spray.
All rise. This is case number 28 on the calendar in the matter of Gay versus Jackson. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Ladies, have a seat.
Miss Gay, this is your brother. Yeah. It is your claim that he asked to borrow your car, just going to the store. When he came back, he said he had had an accident with the car, and he did have an accident with the car. hit an inanimate object, a pole or something. You went outside, you looked at it, you were very aggravated, and a few days later, when you looked at the car, he had tried to, what do they call it, bondo? You know, the stuff that they put in to cover things.
Right.
And he had painted it over, and it looked...
No, Your Honor. He tried to spray paint my car.
I said he.
Yeah, he tried to spray paint it, not bondo
fix it. Or just spray paint it. Or
yeah.
Whatever. Brother said that he did, in fact, try to spray over the car, but he said that was at your request because he wasn't driving the car when it was damaged. You drove the car into a pole.
Correct.
He's lying.
Okay, Now, Mr. Jackson, how old are you, sir?
I'm 22.
Who do you live with?
Myself and my girlfriend.
What kind of work do you do?
I am currently unemployed.
And what kind of work does she do?
She works as a cashier at Walmart.
How long have you been unemployed?
About 6 to 8 months.
Have any medical problems, sir?
I do not. Do not.
What were you doing at your sister's house?
I was just over there relaxing. That was it. Just
At what time of the day were you over there relaxing?
probably about noonish, a little bit after that.
On what date? Was it a Monday through Friday, or was it a Saturday or Sunday?
That I cannot really pinpoint for you. Like,
Do you remember what month it was?
yes, I do. It was January.
January of this year.
Yes, of this year.
Was it just you and your sister who were relaxing, or was your girlfriend there with you?
My girlfriend was there with me.
How did you get to your sister's house?
I got a ride.
From whom?
From my sister.
This sister.
Yes.
So she came to pick you up.
Yes.
What time did she come to pick you up?
Say about...
Don't guess.
I'm trying to remember for you, but...
Well, I want you to remember.
It's around noonish, a little bit after, like I said.
Your Honor, it's 11:30.
Shh. If I wanted you to give me an answer, I would have looked in your direction.
Sorry.
Around.
My time is around 11. Around noonish.
Am I keeping you awake?
Yeah, yeah.
Good. So your sister came and picked you up at around 12 noon. You and your girlfriend to come and spend the day.
Yes.
And then what happened?
I was over at my sister's house, and I wanted to go to the store. So I asked her, can I use your vehicle? And she told me no, but I wasn't happy with that answer. So I kept asking her.
You're lying. I told you yes.
I kept asking.
Yes.
I'm going to throw out your case. Do it one more time. When I want an answer, I'm going to get it from him. Do you understand?
Yes.
Perfect. Keep going. I asked you, so you were pestering her.
I was pestering her, whatever you want to call it. I was just asking her if I can. I kept asking her. So she finally told me no, but I'll give you a ride up there. I said, okay, that is fine with me.
Was there a reason why she wouldn't give you the keys to the car?
I don't.
You have a driver's license?
I do have my driver's license.
Okay. You weren't drinking or
I was
smoking
not drinking.
anything
I was not.
or nothing, anything?
No.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Well, you sort of glossed over the smoking anything. You weren't drinking anything. So she said, no, but I'll give you a ride there.
Yes, correct.
And?
So I go in the house, I grab my girlfriend so we can both go up there to the store. So we start heading
What
to...
store did you want to go to?
It was a BP.
What is that?
A gas station.
What did you want to go for?
Cigarettes and drinks and other stuff.
Cigarettes and drinks?
Yes, but not alcoholic drink, like just a pop, grab something to drink.
Snacks. Munchy crunchies. So your sister is driving you to the BP, and?
So my sister driving me to the BP, and we're about to pull in. I don't know really what caused her to hit it or what, but we were driving, she pulled in, she went over the curve, she hit it. Her driver door would not open, so I got out the car to checked for her, and I told her my evaluations of it. I told her it was the dent on it, and that it wasn't too bad, if I would say so, but I'm not no mechanic.
Okay, and did you go and get your snacks?
Yes, I still got my snacks. That's what I went.
Just a second. Did you get the snacks before or after she went over the curb and hit something?
I got it after.
Well, she couldn't get it. You said she couldn't open her door?
Yes, her driver's side door would not open.
Open, so she stayed in the car.
Yes.
And you went out and got the snacks?
Yes.
Got back into the car?
Correct.
And then what happened?
And then, well, I checked out the damages after I grabbed my snacks. And I looked and I told her it wasn't too bad that...
Wasn't too bad, but you can't open the door. And?
It wasn't too bad as far as visibly, like, to me it wasn't as bad because we see cars with dents on them all the time. Like, it was just a couple scratches that were really an eyesore to me. So I told her that...
But if she couldn't open the door, then it must have been more damage than that. She couldn't open the door.
Correct, but from my point of view...
From your vision?
Yes, from my vision of it, it wasn't too bad. Like, I was still on that car and I would still drive it. It's not totaled. It is still drivable.
You mean two two extremes. Either it's a scratch or it's totaled. You don't think that not being able to drive, what happens if it starts to smoke in a car? You can't get out.
I would just...
How did she get out of the car?
You had to climb over the seat.
Is that what your sister did when she got home?
Yeah.
Now, you went in and got your snacks and your cigarettes, and you got back into the car. And then I assume you went to your sister's house.
Correct.
How did she get out of the car?
She had to climb over the seat.
Now you're back at your sister's house. She climbed over the seat.
Correct.
And you and your girlfriend and your sister are hanging out, munching on what you bought and smoking the cigarettes that you had bought. Did there come a time when you went home?
Yes.
How did you get home?
My mother.
Your mother came to pick you up.
Correct.
Why did you call your mother?
Because I did not want her driving her car all the way back out to Cleveland.
Why not?
Because she literally just got into an accident.
And on what date did the accident take place?
January 10th.
Did you go to the house to pick up your brother and his girlfriend?
Yes, ma'am.
Who else was at your house?
My daughter was at my house. My boyfriend was at my house. And that was it.
And at what time did somebody take the car and go to get snacks and cigarettes?
Leroy took the car at about 12:45.
Did not.
Did he ask you if he could take the
Yes.
car? You know your brother
Yeah.
has a driver's license. When he asked you if he could go to the store to get some...
I told him that he could. I've let him drive my car before on many different occasions.
And you gave him the keys?
Yes, ma'am.
And what kind of car is it?
It's a Chrysler 300 2005.
When did you purchase it?
I purchased it February previous year to this year, the 17th.
Is there a note on the car?
No, it's all paid off.
Do you have photographs of what the car looked like?
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to see it.
Do you want to see the before and after?
Yes.
This is before he wrecked it. This is after he wrecked it. This is after he wrecked it. And this is whenever he thought he was an auto repair shop.
I was not driving the vehicle.
When you showed me a picture of before, this is not what the car looked like before he took it.
No, ma'am, that's before, as far
That's
as
before
before
he-
he spray painted it and he was a repair shop, I guess. I don't know.
Well, on what date did you do that?
Wanted me to do
Mr. Jackson, on what date did you try to fix it?
It was sometime in February. I do not recall the exact day. It was like a couple weeks after she called me and she told me to go ahead and to spray paint it. And then I further went ahead and went to the auto store to get spray paint. And right before,
It was all dented. How do you spray paint a dented car?
I was trying to cover up the scratch.
Dented?
I know, but the concern was the scratches and making.
No, the concern was how do you get the car door open? How did you get the car door open?
Ma'am,
But
I
that's-
never got it opened, and my concern was the damage to the door, because like you said earlier, if a fire was to happen, how am I supposed to
is
get
my
my
question
car?
that you
I did
haven't
not hit it.
Is my question to you that you haven't used the car since?
I try not to, only if I have
So
to.
the
it's
answer
emergency.
So the answer is you've used the car since.
Yes, only in the cases of emergencies or no other
So
way.
the answer is you've used the car since.
Yes, ma'am.
And how do you get in and out of the car?
I literally have to climb over the seat, and I'm not exactly skinny, Your Honor, so I have bruises on my legs from it, and it's just a big inconvenience.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
How did you expect him to fix the car?
Last I knew, he had insurance.
If his car was repossessed.
Because their car didn't get repossessed until in the middle of the month, Your Honor, and usually insurance goes for a full month.
You didn't even think about that.
And later today,
What is the name of your insurer?
Geico.
You're in good hands with Geico. Right?
That's Allstate, but
Geico is
Allstate.
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 Oh, the little gecko.
Yes.
Judge Judy.
Mary Gay says her brother, Leroy Jackson, damaged her car and then damaged it more when he attempted to fix it.
Now, how did you expect him to fix the car?
I thought last I knew he had insurance because he
What
had
kind of insurance does he have?
I
What could he
don't
have
know.
insurance? How could he have insurance? He has
Because
no-
he had a vehicle prior to this
Well, but
that
he
got
does-
repoed for lack of payment.
He had no car. You had to go pick him up. How could you think he had insurance if his car was repossessed?
Because their car didn't get repossessed until in the middle of the month, Your Honor, and usually insurance goes for a full month.
You didn't even think about that. I mean, you're just tooting right now. So I assume you only have liability, not collision on your car. Is that right?
No, ma'am. I don't have any insurance on my vehicle at this time.
Just a minute. Did you have insurance on your car the day you let him drive it?
No, ma'am. And the reason why I didn't have insurance was because I'm a single mother and I'm trying to take care of my children without help from their father. And sometimes I have to buy basketball shoes,
Miss Gay,
toiletries for them, anything.
Miss Gay, you can't drive a car without insurance. It's fascinating to me. I mean, I thought at least you would say to me, yeah, but I can't afford collision insurance. I only have liability. You can't drive a car without insurance, and you can't let your brother, who I wouldn't let drive a tricycle, car that had no insurance on it.
Your Honor, but that still doesn't stop the fact that he spray painted my vehicle, my black vehicle gray, and that he had, he wrote a promissory note saying that he wrecked the car, Your Honor,
let me explain to you.
And that he would pay for the damages.
I don't, listen to me. I don't care. I'm going to give you a doctrine. It's called the doctrine of clean hands. Put down your paper. This
Your
is
Honor,
what
so
it. This
it's
is what
okay
it.
for
Just a
him
second.
to not pay for the damage that he did?
It's as okay for him not to pay for the damage as it is for you to drive your car and lend it to other people without insurance. Because if instead of hitting a pole, he hit 2 children and caused injury, and you have no insurance.
Your Honor, because like I said, I thought he had insurance and his insurance would cover. And he has a promissory note that him and his girlfriend drove saying that they drove my car. And what about him spray painting it?
Bye. You want to drive a car without insurance?
So you didn't drive my car?
I'm telling you right now.
So you didn't drive my car?
Listen to me very carefully.
Did you drive my car? You're lying under oath.
Just a second. I don't care whether he drove it or not.
Did you drive my car?
She doesn't understand, Bert. Right. She doesn't understand. So this is what we're going to do. I'm going to sit here. I'm going to sit here. We're going to cut off her mic, and I'm going to say right into clean hands. You're supposed to have insurance. Perfect. Thank you. We're done.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Justice was served here. She's just trying to find somebody to blame. She wants it not to be on her. She wants me to be the person to blame when in reality it is her. And the judge seen through it.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Lumbert versus Moorfield. Step forward.
Jillian Lumbert is suing 23-year-old Tyson Moorfield for the remainder of a car loan after he totaled her car on their first and only date.
Miss Lumbert, about a year ago, you met the defendant. You had one date with him, and you were driving home from your date, and the defendant was driving your car.
Correct.
At your request.
Correct.
And he had an accident.
Yes.
And the car was totaled as a result of the accident.
Correct.
It was a relatively new car, and it was fully insured, and you had gap insurance. Perfect. What is the name of your insurer?
Geico.
You're in good hands with Geico. Right?
That's Allstate, but... But I would say Geico definitely took care of me.
Geico was
Allstate.
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 Geico was the gecko.
Geico gecko. Oh, the little gecko.
Yes.
Judge Judy continued.
Now listen to me. I don't care. So you mean she told you that the insurance was going to cover everything, so you decided to be an inattentive driver because that you had gap insurance? Don't be a fool.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Jillian Lumbert says Tyson Moorfield totaled her car on their first and only date.
The defendant initially got a ticket for reckless driving.
Correct.
That didn't impact on them paying you insurance for your car, but you were advised that since he got this ticket, which was a criminal act for reckless driving, they wouldn't cover your gap insurance.
Correct.
So far, correct?
So far, correct.
Then Mr. Moorfield was only convicted of what?
Inattentive driving.
Inattentive driving, which is not a criminal act. And so you said to Geico he was not convicted of a criminal act. They found that he was inattentive, or he pled guilty, which is the same thing, to inattentive driving, so that I want you to pay my gap insurance, which they then should have done, right?
Correct.
But which they didn't do.
Right.
Yeah, so 2 things. I'd like to see the letter from Geico telling you that even though he wasn't gap insurance.
I actually do not have that letter because I spoke to them on the phone. I only have the initial letter of them stating that they were not going to cover because he was cited for reckless driving at the time. So when I had called them and told them, okay, it got pled down to inattentive driving, they said, okay, we'll cover it.
Well, then you
And that
should have
was the
gotten
end
a
of it.
letter from them.
They never sent a letter.
How long ago was this?
So it was December of 2016 that I had contacted them, and they said, yeah, we'll cover it. Never got a letter. And
Are you still with Geico?
No. I swapped to State
Well, have
Farm.
you called them since?
Yeah, I called them since, and I never got a response. That portion of their insurance company just never...
Well, just a second. Do you have any notations about the person that you spoke to when you called Geico?
I don't. I ended up not taking enough notes on that, so...
Well, I'd like to see the letter that they sent you.
The initial one?
Yeah.
Because I had sent a letter back telling them, and I'll give that to you as well, to keep the case open.
Well...
And they never replied back. I even asked for a receipt from them from the letter that I sent them.
Oh, they didn't pay it because the exclusion to your policy clearly states gap addendum does not apply to any fraudulent, which this doesn't, criminal, which this wasn't, illegal or intentional act.
Right.
Well, what he did was an intentional act. You pled guilty to what?
Inattentive driving, ma'am.
That's an intentional act. So they were perfectly within their rights and within their contract to not pay your gap insurance.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
She spoke to somebody at Geico who may have given her misinformation or just blown her off. Of course, they did pay a lot of money on your car. How much?
I think the total was around $12,000.
That's a lot of money. So the shortfall was $2,700. So now it comes to you. You pled guilty to inattentive driving.
Yes, ma'am.
Which means the accident was your fault.
Yes, ma'am.
So beyond a reasonable doubt, you owe $2,700.
I don't believe so, ma'am.
Well, I don't care actually what you believe. So I'm going to tell you what the law is. You pled guilty to an act that caused an accident. She is at a loss of $2,700 because of your inattentive driving. As between you and the plaintiff, why should she pay for your inattentive driving?
Well, as we had discussed that night, she had told me that the insurance was going to cover...
You that the insurance was going to cover everything, so you decided to be an inattentive driver because that you had gap insurance? Don't be a fool. Give me another defense that I can buy, or just say, I'm going to shut up.
I'm not sure.
Well, then just say, I'm going to shut up.
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $2,700. We're finished.
Everybody's excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
I don't believe I should have to pay $2,700.
I'm just glad that this all got settled finally.
It's a car accident, and by definition, it's an accident. I didn't mean to.
It was a pretty bad wreck. We totaled 3 cars in the process.
Just lucky and happy, at least, to still be here.